What's poppin', y'all? You ever seen somebody that's just minding their own business and then they just get a ton of strays thrown at them? Because that's exactly what happened to Polo G of all people. Now, I was just scrolling through Twitter the other day, and this all started with Polo G streaming and then getting or having Blackboy Max not even take him seriously when he made some comments about potentially wanting to be a Clover boy, pull up to the streamer, not awards, a streamer university, which is supposed to be coming in February. Is that going to be, or was it? Yeah, it was February or March last year. Is that going to be happening? Is that going to be the comeback for Kai Snap? That would be a fire comeback. But I'm going to play you guys that clip of Blackboy Max reacting to that situation.
If they got another streamer university coming up, I'll probably come to that shit so I can get some game for. I ain't gonna lie. Probably hit up my boy Cassie if he could manage me. I could be like a Clover.
Nah, this nigga fried. He's dead trolling. He's trolling.
Clover or part of AMP. I ain't gonna lie.
He's trolling. He's laughing. He's trolling. He's trapping. He literally started laughing. He's trolling, man.
I think Polo was just trolling. Like, I don't think Blackboy was trying to laugh at him, like trying to clown him type shit. I think he just recognized Polo was trolling, you know?
Streamer U 2026. Y'all want to go to Streamer U? Should we apply? Be a professor or something?
That picture is wild as hell.
Oh. Ice Spice was spotted on Brooklyn Nets.
So here, Polo G was not clearly actually. He was joking around, but he's been friends with Kai Cenat, or at least on cordial terms for quite a while. He's collaborated with him a bunch. Like I said, he's collaborated with people like Zeus in the past too. But this tweet really
it's low-key kind of interesting how Kai fucks with Polo, but he doesn't fuck with Lil TJ. And Polo and Lil TJ is supposed to be close, you know. They low key came in the game around the same time. That pop out at your party, I'm with the gang. On front of them, like, you know, y'all remember that song?
rubbed me the wrong way, partially because of the amount of engagement it got and positive engagement in terms of supporting it, which there was this original tweet that said, "What's the biggest fall off ever?" And then this person quote tweeted it and said, "This MF Polo G dropped a 40-song album and absolutely no one was moved." Crying emoji. And it was Hood Poet Black Heart Edition. Now, Hood Poet was an album that was dropped in...
I hate when bitch-ass niggas on Twitter be saying shit like this. Who the fuck is you, dude? The dude that's making a comment. Who are you? We don't know who you are. And at the end of the day, Polo... he live in Calabasas, gang. He already got to the bag already. So all of this other shit, when it comes to attention, clout, numbers, and all that shit, like that shit don't really matter when you already living in your dream house and you a fucking rap megastar, bro. So, and then on top of that, this album, like this deluxe version of this album, you know, this limited edition of this album, it wasn't really promoted that well. And a lot of people don't realize that when it comes to music and the music business, a lot of times why certain projects and songs don't do as good as they should is because of the marketing. It's because of the background stuff that you guys don't see. So it's not always just the music or the artist. It can be a lot of the politics that's involved. So whenever you guys see an artist drop a song or a video or an album and it doesn't do as much numbers as you anticipated, don't always be so quick to, you know, to rush and blame the artist, because, you know, there's a lot of people that have their hands in these projects that come out.
2024. Hood Poet Black Edition was I'm pretty sure that's part of the reason why he was streaming, because he was dropping the deluxe for Hood Poet. So it's probably just a bunch of songs that didn't make it on the original album that dropped in 2024. Now, the brutal part is not only the fact that this has 47,000 likes and almost 5 million views, but this person replied and said, "Grok, bring the disappointment and tell us how many first week sales this album has." And Grok really just put salt on the wound, saying, "Polo G's Hood Poet Black Heart Edition reportedly sold under 10K units in the first week, with projections in the 2 to 7K range. It misses the Billboard 200 entirely, the first of his projects not to chart. Oof. The fact that Grok had to add oof, that's just a little bit too brutal. And I responded and I said the following: I understand why rappers want to stream now. Imagine releasing 40 plus songs and tens of thousands of people are laughing without even listening to it. The effort it takes to make music isn't even appreciated anymore. Now, number one, the fact that this sold with 40 tracks, it did less than 10K first week, that is dangerous. That is something that Polo G should be concerned about. Very, very concerned about. Now, the last time I remember a 40-track project being released was Heartbreak on a Full Moon by Chris Brown. And I remember people were clowning it, saying he quote-unquote only sold 100K because he had 40 tracks on it. And then one of the few people to really come out and support the album, having not only bought it, because he frequently buys his album, but listening to it, because a lot of people were just saying, I'm not listening to 40 tracks of Chris Brown. Yeah, me personally, I'm listening to 60 tracks of Chris Brown, okay? You cannot listen. You can choose not to listen to it. Maybe listen to somebody else. All right? How about that? I was about to say maybe listen to Daniel Caesar, but that would be a good option too. I can't hate on Daniel Caesar either. So that album ended up being great. It ended up streaming great. That's is it one of my favorite Chris Brown albums? I don't know. It's one of the albums that I go back to a lot of the music on. Now, usually I'll listen to an album from top to bottom if I go back to it. For example, if I'm going back to Pablo, I'm probably running that top to bottom. It's a little bit difficult because I feel like Pablo's an encapsulation of all of the sounds of Ye pre-Pablo and whatever he was working on at the time. So there's a lack of cohesion in the sound of the project, which isn't a negative. It's just that it makes it less likely for me to listen to the whole thing top to bottom frequently, as opposed to a Yeezus or an 808s, which I can easily run top to bottom. But when it's 40 tracks, I'm not listening to 40 tracks 3 months, 6 months, 3 years after I've heard the project. But with Polo G, the reason why I kind of feel bad for artists about this is because think about as an artist, and we have to think about Polo G specifically, and I can't believe I'm defending Polo G when this guy's just, he hasn't been disrespectful to me, but he's just, the only time this guy's ever talked to me is based on some negative I had to say about him, which was a valid criticism, and not all the other times. But anyway, with Polo G, you guys got to remember when the Iced Coffee Hour podcast, Adam22 went on there, and he was talking about how No Jumper at the time was doing $1 million a month. This was between Snapchat, between Facebook, between YouTube. It was booming at the time. And
God damn, $1 million a month? That must have been a great time, because I heard No Jumper not doing so good now. I wonder how much they bringing in a month now.
Polo G, immediately after that, he posted, he's like, yo, we got to start getting paid to show up to these platforms. These guys are doing $1 million a month. I mean, that $1 million a month statement, it really caused a ripple, because not only would No Jumper do a lot less, and this was strictly No Jumper, would do a lot less. Following that, Adam22 would pull the whole, oh, we're broke, guys. We're going to get rid of this studio space, not even a studio space, warehouse, which they still have the warehouse. I don't know what the deal with that is, but
it's crazy how you can go from running a business that's making $1 million a month to being broke. That's crazy to me. And I know a lot of people who haven't reached that level of success are confused, like, what the fuck? Like, how can that happen? Like, but it's like, man, when you got a lot of expenses and you got a whole staff and you got to pay taxes and you know what I'm saying, podcasting, music, these type of career choices aren't the most stable. So that $1 million a month can definitely fluctuate.
They were for sure making less money after when he made that video. Otherwise, they wouldn't have. But with even the disbelief in an academics, for instance, that was saying $1 million a month, like that's how you know Adam was killing it, because he was trying to academics, who is Adam22's rival. Actually, it's funny when academics calls Adam22 his mans. That is not your mans. Like, please stop capping. That's your coworker. Yeah, that's your peer. Man, honestly, he might even be, depending on how drunk he is, and if it's not on stream, he might feel insulted if you called Adam22 his peer. But that is somebody in your field. right? Like an acquaintance. Let's call it what it is. But when he was trying to say like, nah, the half of that is from OF, right? So Polo G was seeing streamers or YouTubers in this case, Adam22 and Vlad included, but they patched things up, making this much money. And he's like, yo, every time I leave the crib, for example, he had to go to New York, he caught a gun charge, which, what's up with that gun charge? I mean, we saw Lil Zay Osama beat a switch, which is crazy. But Polo G, I think they found a gun in his hotel, but he's always got to be concerned with his safety when going other places. He's like, I got to get security to show up, to get money for a show, which I know that show money cannot be hitting especially with how this project came out and no hits that came out of it, unfortunately, that is. And then he starts talking about it like, yo, we got to start getting paid. It's a little bit of jealousy, envy, which is fine. There's always a grass is greener on the other side mentality. Every field thinks that the other person has benefits and it's nicer over there. But Polo G's mindset has clearly been on the side of, man, I work so hard to put this music together. And this is part of what I was getting at in my tweet. Because let's just talk about the nightmare and hellish process it is to get 40 songs released as a Polo G, which is someone that already has a name. Keep in mind, even as a regular artist, making and putting out 40 songs is a lot because you got to buy 40 beats off rip. You have to be good enough at music to put together 40 songs, and that takes a long time to do. And then with a Polo G, for instance, your team has to constantly negotiate on, yo, how much do you guys want for this beat, and then maybe sample clearances, and this is going back and forth because they're like, oh, Polo G wants the beat, it's not just a regular random rapper. Okay, oh, we're gonna see about that. So now they're doing that whole discussion back and forth, and as a rapper or musician, all you really want to do is make the music and drop the music, and then there's all of these other complicated things that you have to go through in between, and the effort it takes to make 40 final songs that you're comfortable with releasing on a project. And you're a Polo G, so Polo G's not just phoning it in.
I ain't gonna lie, to drop a 40 track album in 2026 is kind of OD. I ain't gonna lie. I'm seeing a lot of artists promote just one song. I've been seeing that a lot, like artists promoting maybe like 1-2 songs that they really, really like throughout the year, and kind of just, at least from an underground level, that's what I've been seeing. There hasn't really been too many projects that had a lot of tracks that really moved, the public, or really changed anything. You feel me?
Right? Like maybe he's punching in or whatever, but he's not. We don't know him to drop low effort music, like let's say a Net Spend, for instance. And by low effort, you guys know what I mean. It's not hard to record. So you put all that together, and the person doesn't say it's whack. The person doesn't say, I didn't really like this track, or like I think it went on for too long. It should have been 25 tracks max. No, none of that. You don't get criticism on it. You get criticized for, you get dismissed for it not being heard by the majority of people. And for the person that made the tweet to probably have not even bothered listening to it either. But he knew it dropped because he went and looked it up to make a tweet about it. And this is where I'm like, dog, I feel.
That's that capitalistic mindset that most Americans have, which they like. For example, in this case, if you're an artist, you drop an album, a lot of fans are looking at the numbers first before they even decide if they want to listen to it, which is crazy because fans, they have access to the numbers. They realize how important the numbers are. So that's a big thing when it comes to, am I going to listen to this album? Am I not going to listen to this album? And it's just because there's so many rappers, so many content creators, so many YouTubers out there that I feel like we're now getting to the point where people are even questioning, is this piece of content even worth my time? And I feel like they use the numbers as a big indicator to decide, Polo G's only doing 7K first week. I'm probably not even going to listen to it. And it's fucked up, but in a capitalistic society, everybody's always thinking about money, numbers, statistics, you know what I'm saying? Shit like that.
Feel so bad for these artists because making music is hard, and then you're getting paid pennies. Because let's take a look at for another clip, because Polo G's probably seeing this too. This dude Ronaldo, he was showing his income from streaming, and he made like 60K in a week or something like that, which is a lot less than he would have made in December, because there's budgets, marketing budgets. It's end of year. They want to spend their whole budget. So, and it's Q4. So like, yeah, Black Friday, all that other stuff, Christmas. So October, mainly November, December, they will spend a lot of money on ads. So people on Twitch will be eating. January, it's like, hey, everybody's just getting back into the office. We're going to figure out what's going to happen. Spending doesn't pick back up until maybe March to April or so. So Ronaldo's like, yo, I'm only making 60K this week. Meanwhile, in December, I was making 200K a week. So if I'm Polo G looking at that, it's like, this guy's making 200K or was making 200K a week, not having to leave his crib. Now, this Ronaldo guy puts a lot of effort into his content, I will say. Like, this he's doing the most. Well, not in terms of production cost, like a Mr. Beast, for example, or an Aiden Ross, we'll say production cost. Because Aiden Ross, every time this guy's leaving, he's got a truck or a Sprinter van. He's got a private jet. He damn near has a chef on call. And he's got his security. So he's paying a lot of money every time he's moving around for every stream that he's doing. But most other streamers, it doesn't really cost that much. And then in one stream, let's say this guy for him to make 60K, let's say 10 bands, or a little bit under 10 bands per stream. Dog, to make 10 bands off of a song, you know how many times that thing has to stream? And then for it to be able to stream that much, do you know how much marketing you have to put behind the song for it to stream that much? So if you're a musician, you're looking at this like, damn. And this is Polo G, somebody that can continue to perform multiple hits that he's had, not at the same rate that he was getting at their peak, but there's always this pressure now of like, yo, when's your next hit or when's your next song? And for the album to not even be like, it fell on deaf ears. I'm not gonna lie. Like, the only reason I heard about this album was because I thought to myself, yo, what's Polo G doing? And that's probably what this individual thought to himself too. And I'm not saying like this person's wrong or anything. He's just doing his thing. But he does a good job in the replies of his tweet in terms of how it was received, showing the general sentiment around Polo G. Because this person was a fan, and he was like, yo, because somebody was saying like, yo, nobody's listening to Polo G. He's like, come on, you're talking about like Hood Poet and these previous albums, like they didn't hit like that. So that's a good example. And then people, and by people I mean me included, have been talking about the Roddy Ricch and Navy album that's supposed to drop December 6, 2024. Yes, that's correct, not 2025. So it's been over a year and that didn't drop. But if you're Roddy Ricch and you see Polo G getting treated like this, are you even going to drop? To do what? Sell 5K? And then to be clowned for selling 5K when nobody's going to listen to your project?
Do y'all think Roddy Ricch would sell more than Polo?
At that point, you might as well just, might just keep dropping some singles here and there. So it's tough to be it's almost more fun to be a rapper on the come up than it is a rapper that's already established. Now, granted, a rapper on the come up, there's financial struggles, but the rappers up at the top, there's like so much pressure now, or that we're at the top at a certain point in time. And I don't have a solution for it, to be honest. I think Polo G's just got to keep coming with heat. That's all I can really think of. But I don't know how motivated he's clearly motivated, but he's got to do more than just to drop good music, which is sad that we don't have to tell anybody else that. Like, we don't got to tell a basketball player, yeah, you got to do a lot more than just play amazing basketball. But that's somewhat always been the nature of the game. It's just moved more towards the artist having power now, or people want to see the artist market their music more now than just like a label just running it, especially if you're already known. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed. And I'm going to see you on the next one.
Shout out to Polo G, man. It's interesting as hell, man. It definitely is interesting. We're in weird times right now. In hip-hop, in the world, in this country. It's just a weird time right now. It's unfortunate that rappers are at the point where they're not making as much money. People aren't listening to the music as much. People aren't really respecting the culture as much. But shout out to Polo G, like I said, man. He's from Chicago. I'm from Chicago. We both from the same side of the city, the north side. His hood is probably maybe like a 10 to 15 minute drive away, from where I grew up, what I'm saying, my hood, my area, uptown, what I'm saying. Shout out to all my North Siders. So Polo G, he one of our most successful rappers that ever even came out of our side. We got Pappy and we got Polo G. That's all we got. Me myself, I make music as well on an underground level. Like I'm not on no mainstream level or nothing like that, but I got fans around the city, around the country, the globe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like when I watch videos like this, I'm grateful that I never signed to a label, or like I never because like what bro was saying towards the end, it's like when you're a rapper on that level, you're signed to a major label and you got all this pressure and you got all these people in your ear, it could be tough, man. Like it could be tough. Imagine being on top of the world one day and then damn near losing it all. I'm not saying that that's what's happening to Polo, but there are a bunch of examples of where that happened to different rappers, actors, celebrities, streamers, whatever, in any field. And it's like throughout my journey, because I've been making music, shit. I dropped my first album in 2015. It's 2026 now, and it's like, I did it independently. Like I never been signed to no label. I never even really, dick ride anybody uh, that's in the industry, or try to join somebody else's wave for clout. Like none of that, and yeah, man. I think that this new generation of music, this new wave of artists that you guys are about to see flourish, are gonna be independent artists, not really signed to labels, doing their own thing, creating their own waves, building their own castles, building their own islands. And for a nigga like me, I could do it all. You know what I'm saying? I could rap, I could stream, I could do the marketing, I could do TikTok. I'm just a personality. You know what I'm saying? Like I could do it all. You know what I'm saying? But my love is always gonna be in the music, because that's how I could tell my story the best way, and in a way that could really move people and leave an impact. So I'm just gonna leave it there, man. Shout out to Polo G again. Not trying to bash Polo G. Fuck all you lame niggas on Twitter though that be talking shit. Ain't nobody ever gonna know who the fuck you are. Y'all niggas just be in the crib just typing and shit. A lot of niggas, like, man, Facebook, Twitter, X, what the fuck you want to call it. All of these platforms, a lot of people use to just get their little 5 minutes of fame, and then to bash the next person, but you will never be famous for anything that you individually did yourself. You only gonna be famous for talking about other motherfuckers. You a fucking lame. You a nigga that's on the sidelines. I never respect you, especially if your profile picture on X is not even your real face. Like, get the fuck up out of here, dude. But that's what it is, man. Make sure that you guys like this video. Make sure that you comment on this video. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel. Click that post notification bell to be updated with everything that I got going on. I love everybody that watched this video. All of my supporters. Appreciate y'all, man. It's a journey, and we on to bigger and better things, man. 2026, let's get it. Sweet. Love y'all.